Need the camera. Where's the camera? Ugh. I am waking up. There we go. Come on. There I am. Man, I look sleepy. I am very sleepy. Let's see here. All right. What is this new? I don't know what that is. What does that say? Oh, that's weird. Where'd that come from? How did that get there? I did not add that to the scene. Interesting. Yeah, bye, bitch. That's weird. Okay. I mean, it's something I say, but whatever. Alright, let's do these hand reviews. Let's do these hand reviews and let me shut off the preview. And then we'll get ready. It's Sunday. It is a play day. It's an all-day day. I got the house to myself. It is going to be an epic Sunday. So let's see here. Raising out of first. This is very early in the day. I think this is one of the first hands I played yesterday. We get called on the button. We see a small 3-bet from the big blind. This is kind of pointless. I've been seeing this more and more where players are literally just raising to take back the lead without doing anything with a purpose. So this hand basically just says, I want the lead, right? So this is some kind of weird range. Not trash, but weird, right? Like, you know, pairs, suited cards that are okay. So basically a hand equal strength to ours, I would say, on most times. So there's no real reason to 4-bet because we're most likely ahead. But it's close. And plus 3-way pot, man. And look, we have 122 blinds. We're all starting out very deep, right? Player calls on the button. I flop the 8 and bang! 119 and a half blinds into 13 and a half blinds. You don't need a set of 8s here to call, but it is helpful. Honestly, I would call here with any pair. Any pair that beats a 9 is fine. Just because this smacks of top pairs super weak. Like, you wouldn't even do this with 10s, right? Even if you were this fucking bad of a player. It's ridiculous. He just basically is saying, I'd like to take the pot down now. You can do that for 10 big blinds. You don't need to do 119.50. But he thought maybe he's going to get called by something stupid. The absolute minimum I'd need here is a pair of 10s. That's it. Look at this. Ace Ninner offsuit with the Ace of Hearts. So nobody can draw at the hearts, right? He has the ace, so I can't have the suited Ace of Hearts. Neither can this guy. So I don't know whatever is going to call you, except for some stupid hero call. And I don't know what hero calls are on this board. I mean, I guess 10 Jack can call you, but honestly, I don't think even if you're the biggest gambler in the world, I don't think you would. This is a super small buy-in, but even then, it's like whatever. Sorry, I had to respond to something. Yeah, so this is dumb. Just thought I'd include it because it's funny, really. But don't fold a set. Jack 10. We'll go ahead and make a raise. Get a defense in the big blind. Queen 3 deuce. Player checks. I decided to check back just because I think it looks stronger on some turns when we do that. And plus, it's very early in this tournament as well. I have 70 big blinds. This player only has 25, though, so a thing to be aware of is that he's on a fuck it stack where he's just going to be like, fuck it, I'm going to re-enter anyway. And I don't need to risk 25 big blinds versus somebody who I really can't make fold reasonably early. Hey, what's up, Punisher? How you doing, my man? Yeah, good evening. That's right. Yeah, good evening for you. Good morning for me. Literally woke up 45 minutes ago. It's 10 a.m. What I was saying. So there's no point in really bluffing unless we believe we have equity and will really get the fold, because he's going to jam any pair, really. He bets 1.58 out on the turn. This is a bad donk bet. I decided to go ahead and call it because I don't believe raising right now gets the most folds, even if this is a horrible play. And there's more to this player that you're going to see. If I had that history, I would just raise him right now. But I didn't, so I was still trying to figure it out. And it is still very fragile, right? River comes off a 9. We make absolutely nothing. He checks. And this is where we just go ahead and make the bigger bet of 2/3 pot. This isn't huge, right? It doesn't need to be huge. It doesn't need to be, 7.5, 8 big blinds. 2/3 pot will get it done. This is a little bit, right around, 2/3 pot. Because he doesn't really have anything to ever call us here. He never checks a 9 on the river. He never calls us with a 3. It's over. He doesn't have a queen. And he just folds. So his small turn bet kind of gave it away. I mean, this turn bet, you got to look at this. This is a quarter of a pot. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to ever bet quarter pot. Unless you're trying to get raised, I really believe. And not enough players at these small stakes do that. So, next hand. Ace-3 offsuit, or ace-3 suited, we go ahead and open in the cutoff. 2 big stacks in the big blinds, but I'm pretty big stack myself. We see a 3-bet. I go ahead and call. Make the flush draw, that's fine. Player leads out for just over half pot. This is another great example of why you don't ever do this. You're never going to c-bet half pot. His c-bet here should be about 7 or 8 big blinds. And if you do that, when I do this, you can fold. It's also ridiculous because if I just 3x your bet, like if he makes it 7 and I made it 22, then you can sit there and think about calling for 14. Is he protecting against a flush draw? No. His half pot bet doesn't protect shit. Here's the thing. You got to remember the odds, okay? Here's how you got to look at it. When you're protecting against something, how do you decide how much to bet? Well, what are the odds that that hand needs to call you, okay? So let's figure it out, okay? Let's do the math, okay? Let's say it's only flush draws. Let's say I only have a flush draw here, right? With no other outs, which is going to be very hard on this board. That's 9 cards, okay? There's 9 diamonds left in the deck. If I have 2 and there's 2 on board, 9 left, right? A little trick for quick math is every card yet to come is times 2. That's your percentage. So there's an 18% chance on the turn that I hit it and an 18% chance on the river. So we just do times 4. If we get all the money in on the flop, right, and all the cards come out, it's 9 outs times 4, 36%. That's all I need, right, to continue. A little better than a third of the time. So on the flop, when he leads for 11.5 big blinds, and there's 20.4 in the pot, let me show you something. Let's bring out the calculator. Okay, I'm just illustrating it all for you. 11.22, that's what he bet, plus 20.4. 31.62 big blinds, and we need to call 11.2 to win this, okay? So let me show you. 11.22 divided by 31. What is that? It's 42. Okay, that was what I said. 62, excuse me. 62. What percentage do we need to win to call this bet? 35.48% of the time. So if we call, we have the odds for our flush. Okay? So he's not protecting. He's absolutely not protecting. If you want to do it the other way people do it, you can go 20.4 plus 11.22 plus 11.22. So we're calling, we're putting in 11.22. So we're getting this on our money. So let's see here, divided by 11.22. We're getting 3.8 on our money, almost 4 to 1, right? So he's not really protecting against shit. Our pot odds, we only need to win 26% of the time immediately. But if I raise here, and you can see my equity in the pot is 62%. Because if he has a pair, right, is it more likely he has aces or any other pair in the deck? It's more likely he has any other pair. Jacks, queens, kings, tens, nines, sixes. All those hands would bet, bigger at this, right? So let's give him kings, right? Now what are we talking about? We're not talking about 9 outs. We're talking about 12 outs, right? So because we can hit the ace. Plus, also the backdoor straight draws. It can come off 4 deuce or 4-6. That's a chop. All these other things. So our odds are, and that, like I said, that flush draw figuring out, that was the minimum. If he's only protecting against that. If he has to worry about our ace too, well, now that's 12 outs. So we have 48%. So he has to bet even bigger. So we don't have to win very often. So when we raise here, I'm doing this at this point literally to get the money in. You can see I only have 19.64 behind. If I straight jam it, it makes it very easy for him to play perfectly. If I jam, this 50 big blinds into this pot, then he has to call about 40 blinds to win, 50, 60, 70, 81 blinds. So he only gets about 2 to 1 on his money, or has to win 1 in 3 times. Does he win 1 in 3 times with a pair here? Not really. Not a lot. It makes it very easy for him to play perfectly against me. I don't want that. I want my opponents to make mistakes. So I bet this. Now, he can call with a lot of hands. He can call with ace-king, see the turn, and then decide what to do. Now, all the money's going to go in. So, but some players don't think that far ahead. All the money's going to go in on the turn, and he's probably going to have to call it with ace-king anyway. But I didn't want to just jam here and make it that easy for him. Plus, when you just jam here, it really looks like you only have a flush draw. Some players will hero you because it was so early in the tournament. But his stack was so huge. Like, he wasn't on at the start of this hand. He wasn't on a starting stack. He's got all the money in the pot that's a starting stack. You know what I'm saying? I was on the starting stack. Like, if we go back, I have 17.2. He has 25.6. So the starting stack is 20K. So he's got a good stack going. You know what I'm saying? And it's early. So making this kind of mistake, it doesn't seem big, but it kind of is because you're really giving up equity. So let's go back to it. So we go ahead and raise. He makes the incorrect play of jamming. You should really only be jamming hands here that are strong enough to withstand. And if he wanted to get the money in, that's fine. But as you can see, he did not have a hand that was good enough to do that. This ace-king of offsuit, this is just a pure frustration play. And people overplay ace-king all the time. And yeah, I lost this one, but I had 12 outs, man. Or I had 8 out, or 11 outs, excuse me. 8 flush cards. This is in the real world, okay? When all this money goes in, check out my odds. 45-55. So when he bets, if I just jam it straight here, it's brilliant. When I raise, I think it's even better. When he jams, it's horrific. When I call, honestly, it's the best situation I'm going to be in. And I have 45% to win with all the extra money in the pot. We could get it in all right now, and because of the 20 big blinds in the middle, neither one of us technically makes a mistake based on our true hands. But I have 11 outs against him twice. That's kind of really bad when you have no pair. If he had had a king here, like if it was 7, 8, and then the red king, it's a different story. Then you can get it in, yes, because it's very early in the tournament, and this is a good spot to take a gamble. But I think my flop raise really makes a statement, and I think he should just, because he could just be dead, right? Like when I make this flop raise, I could just have a set of 8s or 5s or 7s or 2 pair or something. I could have anything. I could have ace 8, and he's just unbelievably fucked. And I'm going to play them the exact same way. So I can have jacks here, and when I have jacks, you're just screwed, bro. When I have jacks, he has 6 outs twice. That's 25%. And he's going to put in all these blinds with a 25% chance to win. So these are the situations you want to court. Even though I was behind in this exact instance, the majority of the time it's very good. Hang on one second, guys. I don't think I would ever call with ace king off in that spot. Exactly. Or jam rather. No, this is an awful play. Here's the thing, and I'm not trying to shit on this player, but this is an absolutely awful play. You're never supposed to do this here. He overplayed ace king, and this is why I did what I did. Was to get him to make this mistake. You know what I'm saying? A bad player has ace king here and says, why is this guy only 3xing? Wouldn't he just jam with something good? Like, listen to the logic of a bad player. Wouldn't this guy just jam the flop with an overpair? Wouldn't that be the right thing to do? No, absolutely not. Because then I don't get any action. You can play perfectly against me. But the funny part is, when I do that, when I just jam straight over his 11 big blinds, this player will even say, even though that's his logic right now, of he wouldn't do that with something good. He wouldn't do that with an overpair. He's bluffing. When you jam versus these players, their thinking goes, well, he wouldn't, he's not going to just do that with an overpair, something good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to call him with ace king because he's bluffing. Like, their logic works both ways. He wouldn't do that with a good hand, and he wouldn't just raise me with a good hand. You know, and when you just call this bet, they're like, well, he has nothing. Like, they just get so fixated on the ace king that they just don't believe you ever have anything. Like, it's just, this is one of those situations where a bad player, I'm going to stack them every fucking time. Why is that HUD still jumping around? Excuse me, this is driving me crazy. Put it there. Oh, that's why I did that. It was because I wanted to be able to see the percentages. Oh, well. Whatever. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is just a shitty hand. And I re-entered, and I did very well in this tournament. Ended up cashing it, going pretty deep. But that's why they have rebuys, man. You guys aren't supposed to see that. So we see a raise. We do just call it. Offsuit, it should be noted, this is a raise. Although we're super deep, 200 big blinds. I don't know if it is a raise. It's a raise at 60 big blinds. I know that. It might even be one at 80. Let me see here. Let's do it right. Let's look it up. I'm pretty sure offsuit it's a 3-bet because of its vulnerability. But let's check it out. So we're going to go to the tools section of Jonathan Little's pokercoaching.com. You guys are going to get to see how you're supposed to do this to learn. So let's say 60 big blinds, I said, in the small blind versus a raise from, what is he, the hijack. Opponent's position of hijack. Queen 10 suited. Ooh, it's a 3-bet at 60 big blinds. Oh, wow, look at that. What about offsuit? Queen 10 off is a call or a fold. So the blinds are too big. So at 40 big blinds, it's probably a 3-bet. Queen 10 off is a call or a fold. Queen 10 suited is just a call at 40. At 30, I said hijack. Queen 10 suited, Queen 10 offsuit becomes less valuable. Huh, interesting. What about like 80 big blinds? Does that change anything? Sorry, this is just for me, guys. Wow, so I had it backwards. So the hand is so strong that we're supposed to be 3-betting it. and when it's offsuit, we're supposed to be just calling it or folding. It's interesting. I think if there was a call behind, we could three bet, but interesting. So okay, so I've messed this one up. So this is a three bet. The hand's too strong, with a lot of blinds, so you can definitely three bet. Now, granted, that chart doesn't have anything for 200 big blinds, but I just go with what it says at 80 when I have more, because it's the early stages of a tournament. The number of blinds really doesn't matter that much, just because you just have to know it's a shit ton, right? So we are in the small blind. We decide to check. Everybody checks around. This player elects not to bet. Seems like a perfect opportunity to when you have this many chips. Turn comes off a queen. I really don't see the purpose in betting now because we have a lot of showdown value. I did say that I was checking the flop yesterday because there's a lot of cards that give us a ton of equity. Obviously, any diamond, any 10, any jack makes the hand pretty good for us. But a queen is kind of makes our hand have too much equity to start bluffing. Like, our hand's kind of powerful now, right? Like, what beats us? Just an ace or a king? And I don't think there's that many out here. Like, king, queen precisely would check this flop, but I think king, jack would bet. I might bet all kings on this flop because these are the blinds, man. They're not going to have an ace much. But then again, I might check it because I know that fact. So he bets the turn, and look at this. This is the same deal, right? Same player, by the way. After we both re-entered. 1.5 big blinds. That is micro in this pot. That's less than a quarter. So we just call it. And I checked the river, and this kind of upsets me because I really thought he was going to bet the river, but he checked it. I don't have enough experience with somebody betting a pittance on the turn when I have third pair. So I guess nobody does. But I was waiting for him to bet the river. And if he had bet something like 2.5 blinds, I was just going to raise it to 8. Because I think I get hero called here. And he never has an ace or king. So I thought he might have like a deuce or something, or even like a pair of 9s or 10s. But he actually had the minimum hand that you should never bet. Like a queen rag here, you should just look to check down. There's no purpose to betting here. Like, you get a blind and a half. No. When you get called, you just lose, bro. So he turned his shitty hand into a shitty bluff and then didn't follow through on the river. If I check here and he bets 8 on the river, it becomes a tough call. Like, I'm probably going to make it, but it kind of becomes a tough call. You know what? I might not. I might just toss it away because we're so deep and it's so early. It's stupid. Turn waves was basically a check, though, right? Yeah, the turn bet is basically a check. Like, I check and he bets 1.5. It's basically a check. And I was seeing this a lot yesterday, and I usually attack that. But being out of position and actually having showdown value, there's no real reason to. You know, even if I make my worst mistake and check and just call that, and then he doesn't bet the river, like, he didn't follow through on the bet. I would expect if he was to make a bluff, a player who would make that bet on the turn would bluff it at like 5.5, 6 big blinds, and that's getting called all day. If he makes it 8 or 9 big blinds here on the river, though, I think I just fold because it's just not worth it. You know? Even if I feel like I'm good 90% of the time, I'm like, what, for this fucking stupid little pot? Fuck that. So he just had crap. And the minimum hand and played it the maximum worst way. Bad bluff on the turn, no bluff river. Screwed up. There we go. I see a raise out of first and a call. And I decided to go ahead and 3-bet. A lot of players don't like doing this when they see a raise out of first. But you got to remember, man, it's very early in this tournament. We all have about 100 big blinds. This player has doubled up, but still, the rest of us are very comparable. Let's see here. He calls, and this player calls, and it comes off 5, Jack, 7. We do have the ace of spades, so that's pretty good. No real reason to bet here. Not because I feel like my ace high is going to be good often, but I feel like it doesn't tell a compelling story if we just bet right at this. I think players get more in their heads when we check, because we should be betting here quite a lot. But when we check, we can just have a monster. Ace comes on the turn, and I decide to check it again. Because now what's the point of betting, right? Let me see here. Now, what's the point of betting, right? Like, does anything that I beat call me when the ace hits the turn after I check the flop? So if I was like, okay, I don't have anything, I check my ace king, I don't have anything, and then the ace hits the turn, and then I just bet, like, am I ever getting called by anything else? I don't think so. Like, somebody needs to have an ace exactly. Let's see here. 3 on the river. This player now bets 23 blinds. Now, here's the thing. This river, I was looking to bet half pot. I was looking to have it check to me, know that I'm not going to get called by much, so I'm betting half pot just to try to get called by a 7, right? This player raised out of first, and now he's betting this river. It's not like he's in the blind, so he never has 2 pair, right? Unless he has exactly ace-jack, I don't think he ever has 2 pair. There's only 2 combinations of a suited ace-7. Ace-5, ace-3, all that kind of stuff is possible, I guess, in the suited varieties, but there's not many combos of those either. So this bet to me says, I don't have anything great, but I should have the most. And when we have underplayed ace-queen, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody to have a false confidence. Because we've played this hand completely laying in the weeds. Like, it was probably good on the flop. It's definitely good on the turn, and we just checked it twice to try to extract the most value. If this ace hadn't hit the turn, I would have just bet, and this pot goes right down. Like, if the turn was just a 3 of clubs, and then the ace hit the river, right? If the turn's the 3 of clubs, this pot doesn't get to the river, right? Because then I'm just going to bet, and it's going to look like a set or an overpair to these guys all day. So we snap called it in-game, and look at there. My man had the suited ace, 1 pair. That is a bluff catcher, sir. And because of the size of the stacks, greed. Sorry, I'm getting texts. Yeah, so this is 1 pair greed and too many chips. And I got a lot of chips off this player throughout this tournament from similar situations. King, queen off. We go ahead and raise out a second. We learned that it is a raise at 30 big blinds to 20 big blinds. Just because you want to make your 1 pair hands and get the money in. Player checks. We decide to go ahead and check back. King's good a lot. Player bets half pot. This to me doesn't say very much. But at the same time, I don't have very much. You know what I'm saying? So I just fold it. Like, he's in the blind. He can have everything. I kind of wanted to run the numbers on this, but after the stream ended yesterday, this one was kind of stuck in my head. So I did a little bit of math on it. This is fine. Like, whatever. Like, he might have stolen it, but it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very small edge if I fold it incorrectly. So I could have just probably bet the flop, but in all honesty, he's in the blind. He's going to hit this board more than me. Let's see. Ace balls. Why am I reviewing? I'm always amazed why I review aces. I think it's usually just because they're funny hands, and I want to make videos out of them. So we make it 2 big blinds. We see a call. Fold in the big blind for 1 big blind getting 6-1. I don't know what you fold there. 596. I decide to bet half pot. I am trying to get the money in. This player only has 16 blinds. I only have 20 after this bet. So this is when the half pot bet works. Notice I'm trying to get called, right? It gets a fold because the player just has garbage. But I think betting a 3rd pot gets a fold as well. I was just wanted to illustrate the point that this is the time that I bet half pot. Yeah, I'm trying to get called. This is not a standard C-bet. A standard C-bet, I'm betting 2 blinds or I'm betting, 4.5 blinds for different purposes. If I thought the player may have something, like if he had 3-bet me and then checked, I'm probably betting 2/3 pot. So we'll just get it in and he'll have an overpair as well. So yeah, that's why I'm doing this, was to show this is the moment when I want to bet half pot. It's a very useless bet unless you want to get the money in. Like right there. Oh, I gotta eat. Let's see. Min raise, we do call it in second position. See a call on the button and a call on the small blind. That's just fine with ace-3 suited. Goes check, check. We check around. Turn comes off at 10. Goes check, check. I decide to go ahead and make the small bet here. I do this a lot. Into 4 players, you don't have to bet much because you're betting into 4 players. You're betting into a 4-way pot. You're betting into 3 other players. So if we bet, this guy's worried about what this guy's going to do. This guy's worried about what this guy's going to do. And this guy doesn't fucking have anything because he was the original raiser who hasn't bet on 2 streets. So if we get past this guy, this kind of works a lot because nobody knows what the player behind them is going to do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like this on the button because it looks too obvious, but I like it in the second to position, right? And we do get all the folds. It's a nice one. And there's a lot of hands here that should call us, but also we're betting so small. This is the second wrinkle to it. With all these players in the pot, betting 1/3 on the turn, a turn bet should be 2/3, right? It should be like 7 or 8 big blinds. But into 4 players, that's fucking maniacal. Why would you ever do that? Betting super small looks like I flopped a set. And that's where this bluff comes from. So, interesting little play that I do all the time. You guys will see it at least 10 times today. Why did I fold the 4-9 offsuit? What's going on here? It was a limp and a check and a min bet. Am I trying to beat myself up for not opening the 4-9? Oh, I wanted to look it up. That's what it was. 40 big blinds, 4-9 suited. I wanted to look it up. That's what I'm doing. I have to figure out sometimes what future Josh wants. Or what past Josh was trying to do. So we're on the button. I think I just wanted to review my button opening ranges at 40 big blinds. So that makes sense that I would mark this hand because this is probably a fold a lot, right? Yeah, it's a fold 100% of the time. But here's the opening range, 9-7 suited. Okay, so that's why I marked it because I was trying to figure out the range that I'm supposed to be opening on 9s. And it's not 9-6 suited, it's 9-7 suited. That's why I did it. 9-4 suited is a fold all day long, but if you ask me what 9s are you opening, 9-7 suited, I think I would have said 9-6 suited. I think I would have got it wrong. And it's a small thing, but we're dealing with tournaments. So 9-7 suited, 8-7 suited on 40 big blinds on the button is an open. Choo-Choo's having a dream. Here's little Barks. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. Button. Oh, raise first in. That's what it was. Hang on. Fucked up. Maybe I'm right. 9-4 suited is the line. Oh, even better. So I'm supposed to raise with 9-5 suited. Okay, yeah, because it's 40 big blinds, raise first in. 9-4 suited is the line. So I was trying to figure out if it was a raise. It wasn't. I folded, so I got it perfect. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, look at me. Got it right. Almost beat myself up there. No. Starts having a big dream where he's a barky doggy. King, queen offsuit in first position. You can go ahead and raise. See a call. Pretty much blanco flop. I'm going to go ahead and bet, and we get a call. Sometimes you got to bet twice, and that's what we do, and we get the fold. And this bet was smaller. This is an interesting one, too, because this flop bet, I made a standard C bet of about 1/3 pot, right? We got called. This right here is a float. When this player responds this way on the turn, this is a float on the flop. So he has, king jack, ace queen, ace 10. He can have suited aces, ace 5, ace 4. He can have all the, Broadway cards, things like that. So he's just floating to see if there's a good bluff opportunity. We only have 20 big blinds, and that's why I made this bet. On the turn, normally, into a 12 big blind pot, I'm going to bet about 8 to 10 blinds. Somewhere right around 8.5 blinds, I think, is the perfect bet here. Problem is, if I do that, I only have about 13.5 blinds left, and that puts 21 in the pot. So this player is going to jam all draws. Look at how draw heavy this board is. 2 flush cards, 3 cards to a straight. You know what I'm saying? So even ace 5 here suited, even offsuit with just the ace of hearts, because he has the blocker to the nuts, the nut draw, is going to jam. So that's why I went with a smaller bet. I wanted it to look like that I was trying to get it all in. So if we bet the 6 big blinds here, we still have 15 behind, but if he calls it, there's going to be 24 in the middle, and he knows that he can't call a river jam with some trash hand. So if we're getting floated, he knows he has to play for all our stack here. On the turn, if we bet bigger, it looks more bluffy. Now, if we had 80 blinds, I would make that turn bet all day long. You know what I'm saying? Or I might check it and then bet rivers. You know what I'm saying? Because the pot is so small. But this is one where right around half pot, a little bit better, was good. Because it looks like we're just trying to work the money in, right? Like I have an overpair. Any overpair I would play similarly. Well, I wouldn't. But you should play similarly if you want to get the money in versus a big stack. So, interesting example there. Because I shit talked the half pot bet, but that's where it's useful. Because it was useful there as a bluff, which is interesting. It's very rare. We go ahead and check around. Hey, look at this. I pick up a open-ender and a little baby flush draw. And look what I do. There's that small bet again. And there's all the folds again. Do we see how this works? Right? My ideal position for this is to be over here when the small blind checks. But when I'm in the small blind, I'm going to do this a ton. And a super small bet, right? Into 3 players. It's too scary. Oh no, this guy bet 3 big blinds into this 9 big blind pot. I like my hand, but what's this guy going to do? What's this guy going to do? Fold. Oh no, this guy bet 3 big blinds into this really scary board, and he was betting into 3 players. I don't know what this guy's going to do. He might reopen the action. I fold. I only have 18 big blinds. This guy's betting into 3 players. I better fold. Like, it's very easy to see the logic here. I love these little donk bets. They work so well. It works like 80% of the time, believe it or not. And when it doesn't, you can probably bluff a lot of rivers. So let's see here. We're on the button. Open up. This was on the bubble, by the way. I remember this hand. This was on the bubble. Make the queen. I decided to check back just because I think I'm miles ahead. On the turn, it gets checked again, and I bet, and the player raises. Now, this player's in the big blind, and here's the thing. If this was later in the tournament, I would have just jammed on this guy because I had seen that he was doing this a lot. But that being said, I would have jammed over a normal check raise. This is a monstrous check raise. This is one where he's got a hand he wants to get it in with. And that's better than 1 pair. So I think his oversizing really gave it away, and I did end up folding this one. We were pretty near the bubble, but not too near. But I had a good stack, so there was better opportunities. And the player did do this quite often when he was just totally bluffing. And I did catch him a few times. And one time I made a bad call, or not a bad call, but a close call, and it didn't work. We go ahead and make the open. Same player. He calls. There's a jack here on this one. He checks. We go ahead check back again. It looks very similar to the last one. Turn comes off. We decide to go ahead and bet. A little bit better than half pot. We're just trying to get called. He does call it. The river comes off a king. He checks. And I thought about it, and I was thinking because of this player's... I had seen him check raise out of position, like, no joke, probably 8 or 9 times by this point. And we weren't on the table that long together. We were probably there, I don't know, 30, 40 hands at that point. So he was check raising a lot. He wasn't c-betting very much, but he was check raising a lot. So it's obviously his favorite new toy. So in that exact instance, I was thinking, well, he's not going to check raise 2 pair. So the only time I get action here is when I'm beat by the queen. So this is one where we just check, and we wanted to see what he has. And he had the bottom end of the straight. So just as likely he would have the top end, right? So I like it. I think we made the most we could on this pot. I think betting the flop would have served no purpose other than getting us into a weird spot on the turn. But I would have gone all in with it. But I don't. I think this is one where we smash the flop so hard we just have to check it, and the turn gave us enough to get a little bet out of him. But very dangerous player. Is that all the hands? Yeah. The hand that happened later was I had pocket eights, and the flop was queen. Oh, God, is it not on here? It's not on here. I thought I marked it. Hang on. I'm going to find it. Hold on one second, guys. Why is it not here? It's near the end. I can find it very quickly. Give me one second. I want to illustrate that hand. Same player. Pocket eights. Let's see here. Oh, we'll just do it by the hole cards. So let's go down to pocket eights. See which one I lost on. Okay, here we go. 8-8. There we go. What the hell? Where's the tournament? I guess I didn't record that hand because I didn't win it. Yeah, I didn't win it. I lost the hand. Wow, that really sucks, man. I wanted to show you guys that hand. Oh well. Oh well. It is now 11:18. Let's take a look at the Sunday schedule. Hang on one sec. All right. Let's see what's on the schedule. There's going to be a lot of stuff here today. Man, these nails are getting a little bit too long. Like, I love them, but they're making it just a little hard to type because I don't like typing like that. I need to get them redone. Got another 3 or 4 days. They're a little grown out. Let's take a look at the tourneys. Doopy doopy doop. Oh, that's muted. Let's see here. Fun tournament, but no thank you. 2,500. Ooh, 30K. This might be my jam today. I don't like playing bigger tournaments on Sundays, though. Let me see. 25,000 chips. At 6 levels, we're at 25 blinds. Like, this is just crap. Like, there's 12 levels of late reg. After 6 of them, we're at 25 blinds. So, right here, you want to be at. Let's say you've doubled up, right? One time. That's the minimum you're gonna need. You're gonna have 50 blinds, and then if you double up again, you'll be at 100K. When registration ends, you're going into 3,000, you'll have 30 blinds. So if you double twice, it's acceptable, but then look, it goes to 3,500, 4,000, 5,000. By this point, you want at least 200K. Talking 4 hours in. Yeah. It's not bad. 50-minute blinds and 12 levels. I mean, that is 3 hours of late reg. And it is a huge prize. Ugh. My thing is, I don't want to play that early. I don't want to get started that early, so we'll see. 1,200 guaranteed. This is a bad structure. PKO $6 buy-ins pretty good. PKOs on Sunday are fucking minefields, but still could be fun. This 4K, obviously that's in my wheelhouse. That's what I love. Grips final table. Oh, this is Grips tournament. Yeah, I'm going to play that for sure. Yeah, I think 1 o'clock is the start time, right? Yeah. So it's 11:20 right now. I think 1 o'clock's a good start time. We'll get in the Grips tournament. So this one starts at noon. If I show up an hour late, I'm coming in at 600. That's like 40 blinds, and they go up pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm not gonna play this fucking thing. I don't like the structure. I don't like the timing. I don't like all that shit. And no, not for a mega. At 130, we got this 4K. Yeah, this is good. There's a lot of good stuff. PKO. The Big Ten at 2 o'clock is better anyway. Yeah, there we go. That's a bigger buy-in with the perfect structure. Nice. Yeah. So 1 p.m. is the start time today. And it'll be the Gripsed home game. The Big Ten, oh yeah. Yeah, I love the Big Ten. And then we have all these things too. It's going to be a good Sunday. So 1 o'clock. Yeah, that's about an hour and a half. So, cool. Yeah. Nice. Oh, duh. Wrong one. Little inception there. Yeah, 1 o'clock start time is fine. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I was going to play some Hearthstone on stream, but in all honesty, I need to get some food and set up the YouTube. So, yeah. And I'm going to send you guys over to Grips, so stick around for the host. And I'll see you at 1 o'clock Vegas time.